Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us on today's media conference call for Bellator 221, Chandler versus Pitbull. The event takes place next Saturday, May 11th at the Allstate Arena in Chicago. If you have any questions for the fighters on the line, please queue up by pressing *1 on your keypad. This incredible event is airing exclusively on DAZN and is headlined by a lightweight world title fight where Michael Chandler defends his belt against the reigning featherweight world champion Patricio Pitbull. Pitbull will aim to become a two-division champ. A semifinal matchup in the Welterweight World Grand Prix between former world champion Douglas Lima and the undefeated MVP Michael Venom Page. And the winner of that bout will be just one fight away from a $1 million prize courtesy of 50 Cent. On the line, we've also got undefeated featherweight AJ McKee taking on the toughest test in his career against former world champion Pat Curran. And all of those fighters, with the exception of Pat Curran, who I don't believe has joined us just yet, are on the line. So at this point, operator, we will open it up for questions.
Your first question comes from the line of Steve Junion, MMA Mania. Steve, your line is live.
Thank you, operator. I'd like to start with AJ McKee. How does he feel about this matchup with Pat Curran? And does beating a former champion like Pat put him into contention?
Yeah, I think it does, I thank Pat for taking a fight, And in this situation, I feel like Pat's the true champ, I'm pretty much wiping out everybody in the division. With Pat, stylistically, he's had some time off. He's not really beat up, so he's hungry. We were scheduled to fight before, and I thank him for taking the fight. I'm ready to go get it. I've been calling out that belt since day one, so I don't know why Patricio's fighting Chandler. That don't really make sense. You got somebody undefeated in my weight class whooping ass, knocking everybody out. I'm coming to get that little dude, but it is what it is.
Well, on that note, maybe I should go right to Michael Chandler then, since we just heard from AJ. He doesn't know why Patricio is fighting you. You tell us why you want this super fight.
I want this super fight because it's been a long time in the making. This is two of Bellator's successful fighters, two of Bellator's winningest fighters.
Run, the puck is coming.
It's a matchup that people have wanted to see, and he wanted the fight. I've wanted the fight. I don't have a ton of guys knocking down the door, showing themselves as number one contenders at 155. We have a score to settle, so we're going to step into the cage May 11th, and it's going to be a good fight.
All right. On that note, to Patricio and its translator, I want to know how he feels about this challenge of moving up to 155, and if he thinks this will be a successful event for him.
Claro, eu tenho uma estratégia muito boa para essa luta. Eu acredito que Michael Chandler já era o tempo dele. Está na hora da divisão conhecer um novo campeão. Estou muito confiante nisso.
Yes, I'm ready for this challenge. Michael Chandler's era is over. It's time for a new champion at the lightweight division.
All right. Well, we'll see if that happens on May 11th. Just two more questions for Douglas Lima. The striking of the unorthodox Michael Venom Page has been a problem for many of his opponents, including in this Grand Prix. How will you handle it on May 11th?
I got my own style, been training, I got an answer for the style that he brings. I know nobody was able to deal with it, but I'm about to be the first one to, I'm ready. I've been ready for this for a while, and can't wait to show it May 11th.
Excellent. And finally, for Michael Venom Page, his record is unblemished, as we all know, but he has never faced a two-time world champion like Douglas Lima. So, Mr. Page, how do you feel about this fight you've got coming up in the Grand Prix?
Yeah, it's exciting. Very excited. Douglas Lima is an amazing fighter, amazing athlete, someone that I've rated for, the time that I've been in this game and the time that I've been in Bellator. And I'm just excited to show my skills against him. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, this is a massive card. We look forward to seeing all of you fight. Thank you, gentlemen.
Our next question comes from the line of Steven Morocco from MMAJunkie.com. Steven, your line is live.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the time. First question for Michael. Michael Chandler, sorry. Michael, did you see the fight between Benson and Piccolotti this past Saturday?
I did. Yeah, I watched that fight.
What did you think?
It was typical Benson Henderson fashion. I mean, honestly, when it went to the judges, I figured he won the fight. But honestly, I thought Piccolotti may have been able to. It was so. You have 10 different judges that night. You might see a couple different ways that this fight gets scored. That's Benson's MO though. That's where he always likes to take the fight. He likes to have close fights. And for some odd reason, the way that he fights, the way that he moves, the way that his fights ebb and flow, it always somehow ends up moving towards him getting a nod on the judge's scorecard. That's why you never want to go to a decision with Benson Henderson. But I don't know. I think Benson Henderson said he's excited and he wants to get the belt back, or wants to get the belt Bellator, which he hasn't yet. But I just didn't see that kind of performance for him on Saturday night. I thought Piccolotti looked better than he did actually.
Is that a fight? I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, first of all. Is that a fight that you're willing to take if you're successful against Pitbull?
When I win this fight, I think I don't know. We'll see what's next. Benson Henderson doesn't really excite me. I think he's a guy that can fight till he's 50 years old and do exactly what he's doing right now and always have decently close fights. So since he's winning fights, he lost to Tricky, and then he beat Roger Huerta, and now he beat Adam Piccolotti, who Piccolotti's been a little spotty recently. Just because Benson Henderson has won a couple fights against subpar opponents doesn't mean he's back or he's a top contender. The fight against him doesn't really excite me. He's a guy that you don't necessarily want to fight because it doesn't really do anything for you. I've already dismantled him once. And I think after I win this fight, we're gonna look and see what's next.
Gotcha. And then for Pitbull, are you gonna go back to featherweight after you depending on what happens with Chandler, or are you gonna stick around with lightweight? And if so, would Henderson be a guy that you'd fight if you're successful against Michael?
Na verdade, eu gosto de desafio. A primeira vez que eu subi para peso leve no Bellator, para lutar contra Ben Henderson, eu subi pelo desafio. Dessa vez não está sendo diferente. Eu não estou subindo para lutar pelo cinturão. Algum tempo atrás eu já queria outros cinturões, mas dessa vez não. Eu quero lutar contra Michael Chandler, eu quero arrancar a cabeça dele. E o cinturão vai significar a cabeça dele na minha história. Ele vai pagar por tudo que ele vem falado.
So, really, the first time I went up in weight class because of the challenge. This is at one time in my career I did want a second belt, but this belt is gonna signify me taking off my opponent's head, and that's what the belt is gonna be. Michael Chandler's head on a spike. That's what this belt means to me. It's not really about the belt. It's about him paying for everything he said.
And as far as Henderson?
Henderson luta ele de novo.
Ele tem que pedir revanche, ele perdeu a luta.
He's got to ask for the rematch. He lost the fight to me.
Gotcha. Okay. And then one more question, if I could. I wanted to get Michael, MVP, and Douglas. I wanted to get you guys' reaction to the to the fight between McDonald and Fitch this past Saturday. What did you guys think of the outcome? Maybe start with Douglas.
I thought that Rory would have won because of damage. I think Fitch did a great job of taking him down, but it didn't do much once he got on top, except for that little cut. Rory dazed him a couple of times standing, and he hit him with more strikes. For me, fight is about damage, not about scoring points. We're not here playing soccer. It's a fight. We're trying to finish the fight and doing damage. So for that reason, I think Rory won the fight, instead of a draw.
And MVP?
Yeah, slightly agree. I think depending on what the judges or how the judges score fights, it depends on how you can look at that. You know, if you are scoring it more as a point scoring thing, then you know technically Fitch maybe just won that. But if you're scoring it as a fight, which I agree with, it should be more scored as a fight. Then Rory did win that fight. Yeah, it was a close one. I thought it would be stylistically. I did think it was going to be close, but I just find it weird that you go through on a draw. I just think it should have been even if they had to bring in another judge to give a final decision, there should have been an actual winner. I don't believe you should just go through after drawing a fight, but I still believe the right person went through anyway.
And based on what you saw from him and what he said afterwards, you know, not wanting to hurt people, do you think he's the same guy? And do you think he's going to stay in the tournament?
Who don't answer me?
Yeah, sure. So, Douglas.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all up to him. You know, I definitely think that, you know, changing, you know, because of the, you know, his new, you know, found, you know, price, you know, good for him, but, you know, he's got to make the decision right now, I think, you know. I think that's not a place for him to be if he wants to fight. I think he's got to, you know, find himself, decide what he wants to do. As far as fighting, you know, I thought it looked great. So, of course, it looked a lot better than his last fight. You know, I believe, you know, he's got a lot left in him, but it's a decision that he's going to make. You know, I know how he feels, you know, being through that as well, still him, you know what I mean? But it's a decision that he's going to have to make, you know. I hope he fights, you know, I hope he finishes this tournament, you know, but it's a decision that he has to make.
MVP, what do you think? Do you think he's going to stay in the tournament?
Honestly, the only reason I want him to stay in the tournament is simply because he made all of us do 5 rounds instead of 3. So you might as well stay in for the whole journey. So that's the way I feel about it. Because if he wasn't in the tournament, it would be a 3-round tournament. But if you're gonna make everyone do 5 rounds, then don't pull out. Just stay there to the end.
Well said. Thanks, guys.
Our next question comes from the line of Gareth Davies from the London Telegraph. Gareth, your line is live.
Thank you very much. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time. Can I just carry on the theme there that Morocco was going down, the road to Morocco was going down, and just kind of reiterate and ask MVP and Douglas. It's a very unusual post-fight interview from Rory McDonald in the fighting arena, in which he felt that he wasn't able to do damage to someone anymore.
Gareth, I'm sorry. Can't hear the question. We're unable to hear you, Gareth. If you can try and reconnect to the call on a landline or something, that'd be great. But at this time, we'll move to the next question, and Gareth, when you come back, we'll bump you to the top. Thanks.
Our next question comes from the lines of James Hurst from WGN Radio and MMA Fight. James, your line is live.
Hello. My question is, beginning with MVP, it is kind of along the lines of what you've already been saying. You've gone the distance in 2 of your last 3 fights, but the quality of opponent has gone up. Now, given that Rory McDonald is still alive in the tournament, but won his last bout by draw and lost the fight before that, how important is it to you to make a statement and win decisively inside the distance against the champ, who you're facing someone who he beat by decision? So again, for MVP, how important is it to finish, not going to the distance, but you know, finishing this guy?
In every fight, I'm sure every fight, all of us, you know, decide to take. We want to finish an opponent, and it has nothing to do with or based on how anybody else result kind of went. So I don't feel like, at the end of the day, it's a tournament. I don't really care how I win as long as I win. So I would love to get a highlight reel finish, and I'm sure every fighter would, is every time they step in the octagon, in the cage, or whatever. But it is what it is. My thing is first and foremost is just to win. So regardless of how it happens, I just need to cross that line and then move on to the final.
Do you feel that he'll get past Gracie? Because now Rory has 2 undefeated fighters in front of him. If he beats Gracie, who is undefeated in Bellator, undefeated altogether, and then he has to face you, do you feel like you'll even see Rory McDonald?
Explain what you mean by that.
Do you think Rory's going to beat Nyman Gracie? Do you think he even can beat Nyman, and so you'll actually see him? Or will you see Gracie instead?
On paper, obviously, Rory McDonald is the more experienced fighter, the more established fighter, and I think he's very experienced in all areas as well. So likeliness, it's him that's going to go through, based on what we've heard from him and his attitude, and whatever's going on with him personally, that might take effect, and anything can then happen. So. But that's why there's a tournament there. You can try and predict as much as you want, but anything can happen. I have to be prepared for either fight that comes through.
And thank you for answering that. And a question for Pitbull. Which is more important at this point, beating Pat Curran for the title? Obviously, a title is important, or taking revenge for your brother, who's lost twice?
A luta contra Pat Curran foi importante, foi a realização de um sonho, no qual batalhei minha vida inteira para isso, mas agora é pessoal, ele fala muita merda. Chandler, your wrestling sucks. I'm going to take you down, I'm gonna kick your ass, man. You will see that. Mark my words, motherfucker.
So it sounds like revenge is more important?
He said that, basically, you heard him say it in English, but in the beginning he said, beating Curran was an important part of my career as finally becoming a world champion. And then he went on to speak with Michael Chandler personally in English.
Okay,
you guys understand what he said?
Champion. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He spoke in English and for the last part to Michael Chandler.
I did hear that part, yes. So just based on his comments, the revenge factor is more important than the title?
Então, isso é mais importante.
Sim.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck for the belt, man. Now, I'm gonna...
That's what I was looking for, sir.
I don't give a fuck. I don't want that belt. I want his head. He know that.
Thank you for the honesty. I'm finished.
All right, next question, operator.
I would like to remind everyone at this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, that is star 1 on your telephone keypad. Our next question comes from the line of Jay Anderson from Cage Side Press. Jay, your line is live.
Thank you, operator. And my first question is for Michael Chandler. Michael, obviously, as we just saw, there's been a fair amount of bad blood with Pitbull, a lot of back and forth and trash talk, not just today. Is there any point where you feel he crossed the line? Is it motivational, or do you try to tune it out?
Yeah, no, for me, it doesn't mean a thing, man. I got so much more to live for than fighting in a cage for a living. It's great. It's cool. I'm extremely good at it. I'm extremely nasty when I step into that cage. Unlike Rory McDonald, I talk to my God every day, and he's completely fine with me beating the hell out of people. And I do it in a dominant fashion, and I'm going to do it on May 11th. So, I'm a nasty human being when I step into that cage. But before that, man, I could care less. We're not gonna fight in the hotel room. We're not gonna fight in the the press conferences. You can mother F me all you want. At the end of the day, you got to step across the cage with the toughest dude that you've ever stepped into the cage with. And I have built a formidable, ridiculously in shape, and downright as close to unbeatable opponent as he has ever stepped into the cage with. So it doesn't really matter. You know, it's great that we have the history and the bad blood, and the promoters can promote, and the reporters can report, and they can do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, when I lay my head on the pillow, I'm not thinking about Patricio Pitbull. I'm thinking about outperforming the Michael Chandler who stepped into the cage the last time I fought. I could care less who I step into the cage with. I could care less where the blood is, whether it's bad blood, good blood, or in between blood. May 11th, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put on a dominant performance, just like I always do. And I'm going to get my hand raised, and I'm going to collect a check and kiss my wife and continue to move forward in this journey.
Thanks, Michael. And for Pitbull, I mean, Michael Chandler just said he thinks he's your toughest opponent. Where do you rank him in terms of an opponent, just as a fighter?
Oponente, mas como você ranquear ele como contra os outros lutadores que você já teve?
Eu não quero saber dos lutadores que eu bati. Eu tô focado nesse otáriozão aí. Eu vou bater na cara dele muito. Vou fazer ele sentir dor, vou machucar ele. Ele vai se arrepender de ter aceitado a luta contra mim. Ele vai ver o que vai ser bom pra ele.
I don't care about ranking him against any other of my opponents. I just want to shut this guy's mouth, beat him up, and make him hurt, make him feel every punch.
Porque eu sei que ele desiste quando ele tá sentindo dor.
Because I know he quits when he gets hurt.
Ele é leão batendo, mas é gatinho apanhando.
He said he's a lion when he's hitting, but he's a little cat when he gets hit.
All right, thanks very much. And for Douglas Lima, Douglas, we spoke about Rory McDonald and the comments that he made, but if he did retire, if he relinquished the belt, would that be disappointing for you personally, given the first fight that you had with him, or are you more concerned about the title?
Yeah, a little bit disappointed for sure. You know, that's a fight, you know, that I would like, you know, to get the rematch, you know, since it was so close and, you know, many people thought I won. But, yeah, I mean, the title is definitely more important. You know, my focus is to be a champion again and to get both of these belts, you know, the tournament and the weight class. So, of course, I'm hoping, you know, he keeps going. You know what I mean? Everything goes good. You know, that's the final that I would like. You know, I think it would be great. And let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, you know, he finds himself and get back in the tournament.
Our next question comes from the line of Gareth Davies from the London Telegraph. Your line is live.
Hello again, gentlemen. Can you hear me this time?
Yes.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
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 Thank you very much. Now, you've spoken in depth really about Rory, but here's my question to MVP and Douglas in a different form and in a much simpler way. Is it very dangerous for a guy to be stepping into the toughest sport on earth, where you're getting kneed, punched, kicked, and elbowed, when you're not sure you want to be there anymore? Michael?
Yeah, it's definitely not a place you'd want to be. You should never be doing our sport and be unsure about being there. As you say, so it can be very dangerous at that point. And I think it's mainly dangerous when you have those kind of hesitations in yourself. So yeah, he definitely, I'm sure technically his skill and ability would still probably carry him through, but you should never put yourself in that scenario. So no, 100%. I know I wouldn't do it if I feel like I'm at that stage. I would have to quit.
And Douglas, do you have a view on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, he still fought good, you know what I mean? I don't know if he started feeling that during the fight, but I think he still put a great performance. But definitely, you know, it's a lot harder to fight.
Thank you both very much. And obviously looking forward to you both fighting next week. How important for Michael Chandler and Pitbull Freire? How important, you both clearly have a lot of venom against each other in this fight. How important is it going to be to actually control the emotions in the fight? Because, you know, there are a lot of emotions here. There's a lot to prove with both of you. There's a lot of bad blood. How important, Pitbull, is it to control your emotions? And how important will it be to have Eric and your brother there?
Was that for me? Sorry, man. My phone got caught out here. I just caught the end of the question. Can you ask again, please?
It was just I was asking Pitbull actually, and Michael Chandler. There's no worries. I think it's Douglas. But how important is it going to be to control the emotions in this fight?
Eu tô focado na estratégia, já passei por momentos difíceis de lutas. Isso aí eu sou profissional, vou saber controlar, vou saber seguir o comando do meu corner. Ao contrário do Michael Chandler, eu acho que ele é um cara emotivo, tudo ele quer revidar, tudo ele quer descontar, tudo ele quer fazer força. Ele não pensa muito, é um cara burro pra caralho. Então eu vou meter a mão na cara dele, ele vai ficar nervoso e eu vou chutar a bunda dele, vai ser isso.
I'm focused on the fight. I know the strategy. I know the tactics. I know how to listen to my corners. My opponent doesn't have the. He just thinks about using strength and is not a smart fighter. He's dangerous. He knows that he's dangerous, but tactically and strategic wise, he's not smart, and I'm going to destroy his world May 11th.
How do you respond to that, Michael?
Man, this is my 24th fight. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. Everybody wants to destroy their opponent. Everybody thinks that their opponent has all these glaring weaknesses. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to step into that cage. I am the most prepared I have ever been, the biggest, fastest, strongest, the most technical, and the smartest, most veteran I've ever been in my entire life. So the great thing is I've continued to improve, and the great thing is I'm stepping in the cage with a guy who is beatable in every aspect of the game. And I do think he's going to come in emotional. I do think he's going to come in trying to avenge his brother's loss. And the good thing is his brother will be right there in the corner to be able to see me dismantle him as well. So it's good. This is exciting. This is what we live for. This is what we fight for. But I'm not going to let emotion or not being able to control my emotions take my focus away from winning this fight, providing for my family, and continuing my quest as the best lightweight in the world.
Thank you, gentlemen. Can I just ask one question of AJ, McKee, and Pat Curran? AJ, we know how confident you are. Are you kind of seeing this fight as putting an older fighter, an older man out of his misery in this contest?
I hope not, because for me, I feel like Pat, I feel like he's the true champ in this situation, I've been calling Pitbull's name out since my first fight, yet he fought Emmanuel Sanchez when Emmanuel Sanchez pulled out against me. I've been fighting everybody in the division, and nobody really wants to fight me. So for him to just go up to another weight class when you got somebody undefeated in your division, it's kind of like a slap in my face. But
hey, you are not ready for me, AJ.
Hey, shut up.
You are not ready for me, you know that.
Bring my belt to me. Quit trying to go up weight classes. You're not as good as you think, bro.
Well, because I'm not afraid to fight against a guy bigger than me.
Chandler gonna whoop your ass, and I'm gonna whoop your ass right after. I told you I got a lot of shit in a waiting for you.
That.
Ho. You're all bark, no bite, homie. I'm gonna take you to the pound.
The police is coming.
You're a dog in a lion's world. So yeah, I thank Pat for taking a fight.
Be careful with Pat Curran. He's gonna destroy you. Mark my words.
Just like you did, right?
You
didn't get to knock him out. I'm gonna knock him out the same way I'm gonna knock your ass out. I'm gonna knock your ass out and I'm gonna knock him out.
Let's see what's gonna happen.
Your chin is weak.
You're gonna fight against a real fight now.
Your chin is weak. You're all bite, just like Chandler says. That's why you running from me. Go to another division. You're just like James Gallagher. Y'all don't want to see me.
Let's see what is going to happen between you
Princess
and
Gallagher,
Pat Curran.
Princess Pitbull.
That's
Get off the line. What? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Kill this motherfucker.
Uh-huh. I'm going to do what you couldn't do. Knock Pat out. Mark my words.
Okay. Let's see.
All right. Thanks, operator. We'll go to the next question.
Our next question comes from the line of Steven Morocco from MMA Junkie. Steven, your line is live.
AJ, what do you think is going to happen when Pitbull fights Chandler?
I think Pitbull is going to get his ass whooped, and then he's going to say he can't fight me, and then I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully he releases the belt and gives the real champ, AJ McKee, the belt. I've never trained like I've trained before, man. I've been playing with people, and I haven't even taken my career serious. The last 2-3 fights, I'm just in there calm now. I'm waiting for the time, just waiting for that time for one of these supposedly lions to step in front of me so I can show them what a real roar is like.
Speaking of time, why is it taking so long to put this fight together with Pat?
I don't know. Pat pulled out last time. He said he wasn't. Something happened. He was hurt, prepared. I mean, dude, I've had 3 guys. I've had many people pulled out against me. You know, I was supposed to fight Henry Corrales, Emmanuel Sanchez, Pat Curran. All these guys get hurt a week, 2 weeks before the fight. I signed a fucking contract. That's why I'm the mercenary. Regardless if I'm hurt, I show up to fight. If my hand's broke, I'm showing up to fight. That's my job. This is what I love to do. So I don't care if I'm hurt or not. I'm coming to get it.
Do you think Pat is the same guy that was, back in the day was sort of knocking everybody out? He was the champ, sort of the guy to beat. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Rory and where he's at sort of mentally, but Pat's had a lot of these issues too. He's been very open about his struggles with depression. What do you make of him and the point he's at in his career right now?
I think he's focused. He's prepared. He pulled out of the last fight, and that's when his training camp started, December. And I know this. So that's why I thank him for taking a fight. I told Pat he's a great guy. I hope everything's cool. And one day I look forward to getting it on with him. He hasn't fought like Rory. Rory continues to go to war every time, and that's a true warrior. He's going to keep fighting and fighting and fighting until he can't fight anymore. I've had some of those situations in my own self, going through depression and just not feeling like my career is progressing. But that's part of the trials and tribulations of life. So you just got to keep your head up and keep fighting. With Pat, I think this is going to be his last roar. I think he's going to come out here and try to put it on the line. But I'm the wrong person to do that with. So I'm looking forward to doing something that Patricio couldn't do and knocking Pat out. Everybody said I wouldn't knock McKee out, or McKee hasn't been knocked out. I knocked him out in less than a minute. So,
how long are you willing to wait for a title shot?
I'm done waiting. I'm 13-0. I'm breaking records continuously. There's no reason Patricio should be fighting Chandler besides his ego. He's like a little girl. You pick at the little brother, and then the little brother wants to jump big at the big brother. That's so fucking kid. That's an ego. Remove your ego and do what's right. And what's right is him coming and stepping in that cage and giving me my belt.
Okay, thank you very much.
Our next question comes from the line of Steven Muehlhausen from SportingNews.com. Steven, your line is live.
Well, to start with Michael and Michael Paul as well. And, this fight is extremely personal. But does it feel more personal than the 3 fights he had with Eddie? And then the fight with Premiums? Because those were personal for a variety of different reasons. Is this one more personal than those 2 fights, than those 5 fights?
The funny thing is, I don't really think about it. I mean, I think for you and for everyone, when there's an outsider's perspective looking in, you're trying to find a story, you're reaching for a storyline, you're reaching for a headline. Yeah, it sounds all fine and dandy that it sounds like a great story that there's this big rivalry and whatnot. But man, like I said, trust me, Patricio Pitbull does not keep me up at night. Patricio Pitbull doesn't really cross my mind much. When I step into that cage, it's all about me. It's all about how can I impose my will on my opponent. Yeah, do I know where he has his strengths and where he has his weaknesses? Of course, but those fights with Eddie and these other fights, the fight getting my belt back after I had lost it with the freak injury with Brent Primus and those kinds of things. Those are all big fights as well. The Benson Henderson fight was a big fight. This one's just as big. I feel like this is the biggest fight of my life, and everything's firing on all cylinders. And whether there's bad blood or good blood or anything in between, I am the dominant fighter when I step into the cage May 11th, no matter how you slice it, no matter which way you look at it. And I'm excited to prove that, and I'll let my fighting do the talking, and I will hold the belt up high in Chicago, and I will go enjoy some time with my family.
Going back right off what you said there about this is the biggest fight of your life. Is it the biggest fight of your life, Mike? Is it because he is the featherweight champion and he is moving up to face you? What makes this particular fight bigger than the previous ones he had with like Eddie, Brent, or Benson?
Yeah, this one's bigger because he is the 145 champ coming up. You can't. This is a sport where we have implemented weight classes, and if it were me going down to 145 to challenge him for his belt, it would be a different story. But I can't lose to a 145 pounder. I cannot lose to a featherweight. Now, if he moves up and wanted to,
you will lose. You will lose for featherweight. You will lose.
Okay. Good. So I think that adds a little wrinkle of but I've had everything to lose and nothing to gain in pretty much every single one of my fights. I've 19-4. That's 23 fights. Maybe the fight against Eddie, the first time when I beat him. The second fight against Eddie when I lost to him, but he was still ranked top 5 in the world. Benson Henderson, who had just come over from the UFC and was a lightweight champion before that. Other than that, I've had everything to lose and nothing to gain in almost every single one of my fights. I've been ranked and looked at as a top 10 lightweight since 2011. And I'm fighting guys who have everything to take from me, and this is a very similar situation. Yes, he's a champion. Yes, he's 28-4. Yes, he used to be a dominant finisher. Now, as of late, he's been kind of a lackluster decisionator. But before that, he's been a guy who's been in the sport for a long time. But he's been hitting the head a lot. This, just like AJ said, and AJ sees it, and AJ's going to come and knock him out after I do. He has been hit in the head way too many times, and he's been hit in the head since probably about 2003, 2002.
But I never give up.
So
you do.
It's quite a long time.
I never give up.
A lot of miles.
I can get hit. You not.
So, you
don't have balls, man.
You can't lose to a guy like that. So
you give up.
That's
that.
where the pressure is.
The next question comes from the line of Nolan King from Flow Combat. Your line is live.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the time today. Appreciate it. My first question is for MVP. Mike, last fight, after the fight, you were very open, honest. You said you made some mistakes with your takedown defense, that was something that you were going to be working on going forward. How has that been going? Has there been any adjustments that you've made? And, what do you say to the people that think, hey, Paul Daly took you down last fight. Douglas Lima is going to try to do the same thing here and be able to hold you down. Have you been working on that?
Yeah, of course. Every time you get back in the gym, you're working on all your mistakes and what you've made in the last fight. I think I said it to a couple people already. I think what it was is more mentally. I wasn't really in the fight. I was there physically. Just wasn't there mentally. So I just kind of steps behind. Just wasn't responding in the way that I would normally be. But to be fair, I don't really care about people's opinions on it. As long as I keep winning, it doesn't matter.
Sure thing. And my next question is for Patricio Pitbull. I heard you just say a minute ago that you think Pat Curran's going to knock out AJ McKee. Does part of you hope that AJ wins this fight? And if he does win this fight, do you think that he deserves the next shot at you?
Eu acho que esse desafio aí contra Pat Curran vai ser a luta mais difícil da carreira dele. Ele tá falando muita merda, focando no campeão, enquanto ele devia estar focando nesse desafio aí. Pat Curran é um cara muito difícil de lutar, tem um queixo muito duro. Eu dei 5 knockdowns nesse cara. e ele sobreviveu. Antes disso, nós fizemos uma guerra e o cara é muito duro. Se ele passar por esse cara, ele merece realmente lutar pelo título. Mas eu não acredito nisso, eu aposto em Pitbull.
I believe Patrick Curran is the toughest fight of his career. He's a former world champion. He's a warrior. I knocked him down five times, and he still got up and fought. And if he can get past Patrick Curran, I believe he deserves the next shot. But I don't believe he's gonna surpass Patrick Curran.
Thanks, guys. That's it for me.
I'm betting on Curran.
Lose your money,
All
buddy.
Right. Thank you, everybody.
Of course you're going to bet on Curran. You don't want to fight me, you weenie. Shut up.
Okay, let's see what's going to happen between you and Pat Curran.
Hey, I'm fighting you next regardless. I don't give a fuck. Bring that smoke,
And I'm going to kick your ass.
You ain't going to do shit. I'm going to touch you on your chin and put your ass to sleep.
And you see me in the hotel, be careful, motherfucker.
Yeah, be careful. When I see you,
be careful.
Chihuahua, all you do is bark. Stop talking.
All right. We will stop talking at this time. I apologize if we didn't get to your question, but I do appreciate everybody for joining us on today's call. And we will go ahead and wrap it up, operator. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
At this time, this concludes this afternoon's conference. You may now disconnect your lines.
Hey, Princess, you still there?
What's up?
Oh, you are still there. I'll see you on May 11th. Fucking scrub. See you May 11th. Row, row, row.
Yeah.
Yeah.